What is going on, y'all? So last week's video, I was upgrading the speakers and the head unit into the DC5, which went smoothly, but my speakers required too much power for the factory amp. So, like I said last week, I have to upgrade, or add actually, an amp into the DC5 to run the front speakers and rear speakers. So popping the hatch on the RSX, we can see I have just a regular 4-channel amp right here. Nothing too crazy. All I need is to drive my door speakers, and then along with that, recycled amp kit. You know, just insert a brand new amp kit right there if you don't already have that. Done enough amp installs with friends into their cars and taking them out that I pretty much have a whole kit minus a fuse holder, which I'll just end up taking it out my broken FRS. Then along with that, like Zach did with Money Pit Miata from Donut Media, we're going to be upgrading the speaker wires themselves. So that should be fun. I have a little bit more than two. I have the two back here and then the two in the door. So I put the amp right here. It's going to go underneath the seat. And then luckily, whenever I move the seat all the way back, I believe only like an inch or two of the amp is covered. So for the most part, as you can see back there, it'll be exposed and won't be getting too hot. With all of the speakers removed, I can run the speaker wires from their locations to the amp. Up here was difficult as always, but with the RSX, luckily this grommet in there is just a hole, and then the grommet fits in that. So I just snaked that through there, ran that down here along with the passenger side, and this is where all my cables come into: the rear, front passenger, and then the rear and the front of the driver's side. And those are all going to come over here. And then with the head unit that I have the audio channels for the front left and right, and rear left and rights. So it'll go from the head unit to the amp, and then from the amp to all the speakers. So next up is mounting these speaker wires to the actual speakers themselves. With the kit that I got, this is just the size wire going to the connector, not the size of the connector, unfortunately. So I ended up just going to Ace and picking these up. They come 6 in a pack and I need 8, but 2 of those speakers I didn't realize I got 8 ohms. The other 2 are 4, so I just bought those 2 at 4 ohms and throw the 6 ohms or the 8 ohms in the furs. So the leftover ones, those ones will be used. And for those that don't know how to put the connectors onto these wires, it's really simple. All you need is wire strippers, or you can use the box knife and some pliers. First thing you want to do is separate the 2 wires. So you'll take the box cutter, just cut it right here, like so. Split them apart. Grab the wire strippers or the box cutter. Go ahead and strip it. Give them a little twist so the ends don't fray whenever you put the connector on. Then you'll take the pliers and then just crimp it on there. And that's it. And after you get those connectors on, just connect the turbo size speaker and slap it back in the door. Also, another thing that I did for this smaller terminal, which is the negative, as you can see right there, the smaller one's negative, the bigger one's positive. I'm using black for ground, and this was just a little too big, so I just got the pliers, smushed it down a little bit, and then it fit perfectly right over this small terminal. I ended up finishing this whole speaker and amp install last week, but I'm just going to run over exactly what I did. I installed the new speaker, and with that I installed new speaker wire going from the rear speakers and the front speakers back here to the amp. I ran the power wire to the amp, from the amp underneath the carpet, through the firewall, and then into, well, actually you can see it right there, and then into the engine bay. That part is, I would say, the most difficult part of all this. Second would be fishing the wires from the door into the cabin. That part's also a little difficult, but it's not too bad once you do one side. Unless you have 4 doors, then yeah, good luck with that. This whole wiring looks a mess, but it's not really a mess. I'm gonna take this, tuck that underneath the carpet. Same with the wires that go from all the doors. And then along with that right here, I have my RCA cables for the rears and the fronts. My center console is gonna come right here. That's gonna cover everything. These wires are gonna go in here. And on this side, this is my RCA cables. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take these and put that behind the carpet, but that'll be done next week or maybe in a couple weeks, because I really wanna get these interior pieces on. But I need to take out my roll bar, my half cage, and figure out how I'm gonna cut that to fit. Video up in the cards on that. But yeah, that's gonna pretty much do it for this video. It's just the install. I don't know if I'm gonna have both the head unit and speakers in one video. Maybe I might put that in two, we'll see. But that is the install of the amp and the speakers and possibly the headset. If not, video up in the cards as well. And catch y'all in the next one. Later.